You have an increased number of responsibilities during the holidays, and that increases the demands on your brain. Performing at optimal capacity will become more important because of all of the things you have to do, and yet it also becomes more difficult during these next few weeks. Let's face it, many of us keep the overloaded schedules that we have all year, and then we just add shopping and cooking and having and going to parties. We reduce our sleep and we eat more sugar and more alcohol. As a leader, you want to continue being an outstanding role model to the people you're leading. You want to keep being competent and confident, reliable, resourceful, creative, energetic, and inspirational, even though you have more on your plate than usual. This episode is going to be a short one because I know you're busy. So I'm going to give you 3 simple points to remember this holiday to help you maintain your optimal mental performance and stay at the top of your game. Hi, this is Lucy Gable, Leadership Optimal Performance Coach, author, speaker, and professor at the George Washington University School of Medicine graduate program. And this is my podcast, Leadership, Life, Health, and Happiness. I just want to give you a few pointers about how to keep your brain energy optimal throughout the holidays. The first point is, remember, your brain uses 20% of the energy you use. And if you think about it, that's a lot. Your brain weighs about 3 pounds, and that's much less than 20% of your body weight. Proportionally speaking, your brain uses a lot of energy. According to the Neuro Leadership Institute, the most energy-consuming tasks of your brain are 5 things: understanding information, memorizing information, remembering information, making decisions, and inhibiting. When you're in your leadership roles, you're doing several of these tasks at once, especially when you're leading and influencing teams, but also over the holidays when you're dealing with people in other ways, like managing family gatherings or coordinating schedules, negotiating lines and traffic and shopping, figuring out how to make your party food on time. All of these things require one of those 5 highest energy consuming tasks of the brain, if not more. Therefore, your mental energy will be in much greater demand this holiday. The good news is you can bring your mental energy up when it's dropping, and you can create simple practices that keep it high throughout the day. So now we're going to talk a bit about fuel for the brain. And that brings me to point number 2. Your brain thrives on regular, high-quality fuel. Food is fuel. If you know what foods make you feel good and what gives you brain fog and bad moods, you want to double down on eating more of the former and less of the latter during the holidays. And by doing that, you can keep your mental performance high and still enjoy a few holiday treats. So along with that point, stick with your optimal times for eating to keep your brain on a nice, even keel energy. Don't skip meals so you can eat one big one with lots of cheat food on one specific day, because that really messes with your blood sugar and your mental abilities, frankly. And to get you started on this, people ask me all the time, what should I be eating? And that's a huge question to answer because it differs depending on the human being that we're talking about, your lifestyle, your preferences, your microbiome, your circadian rhythm. There's so much to take into account. That's why I wrote a book on it. What I can say to you here is that your brain works best on the same kind of fuel your body works best on. And generally speaking, that's a plethora of fruits and vegetables and grains in their most natural grain form. Also, animal products grown in the healthiest ways and plenty of hydration, and that is basically water. Eat mostly these. drink plenty of water, and that little holiday treat mixed in with the rest won't affect you much at all. And the final tip for maintaining your optimal brain energy this holiday season is remember that your brain performs best with regular breaks. There are two types of breaks. One is a full night's sleep. Sleep is when your brain clears out beta amyloid proteins that are linked to dementia. It's also when your brain sorts and files memory into the long-term memory banks. The right amount of sleep nightly helps you maintain better moods and more patience with people. Personally, it does even more than that for me. I notice that I think better, I think faster, I speak better and faster when I get enough sleep. The optimal amount of time to sleep is different for everyone, but you should wake up feeling rested. That's a good rule of thumb. And the second kind of break that your brain needs on a regular basis is purposeful pauses. Life, for many of us, is like a series of high-intensity intervals. Just like any other kind of sprint you would do with your body around a track or in sprint training, breaks in between high-intensity mental activities will give your brain time to re-energize and get ready for the next sprint on your schedule. So just like your body can sprint for a short amount of time and then needs to break before the next one, it's very similar to your brain. So how you might do this in life would be after a heavy, brain-intensive, mentally challenging meeting with someone where you might have talked about some serious issues or had some conflictual conversation, or maybe you were doing a presentation, or maybe you were learning something really difficult. Any of those things, you would want to take a good 5 to 10 minute break after that. Ideally, you're only sprinting for about 45 minutes, and then you take a good break. And the best kind of breaks are movement breaks, because when you get up from your workstation and walk around, or even put a little stretching in there, or go for your workout and come back to work, what you're doing is you're increasing your circulation, which brings oxygen and fuel that the brain needs. And you're also changing your scenery. Just by being in a different room, in a different environment, helps you to think differently, helps you to get your mind onto a new track. So if you need to shift gears, when you do it physically with your body, it also helps your brain. So those are 3 points to remember about your brain this holiday to help you to stay energized and keep your optimal mental performance. I've used this information myself regularly. It works when I have a heavy schedule, when I have insurmountable work, or a big event gets added to my plate. I used these practices when I went to see my family on the East Coast in the beginning of November. I was juggling so many people's schedules, plus my own. I was on a different time zone, and I wanted to be 100% present and positive and energized for the people I was visiting. Whereas other people let go of these little practices when they get busy because they think they don't have the time, I know these are the little things that make a big difference. These are the practices that I double down on. And contrary to what many people think, they add energy to my day. They add time into my schedule. And they make the time I do have much more productive and purposeful and meaningful. Let me know if you have practices that you work into your schedule on purpose and that you double down on when the holidays come so that you can be your optimal self. Otherwise, that's it for now. This is Lucy Gable. I'll talk to you next time.